I said, empty your mind.
Not thinking, yet not dreaming.
That's it. How did it feel to you?
Let me think.
Don't think. Feel.
I do not hit. It hits all by itself.
You still haven't figured out what riding waves is all about, have you? It's a state of mind. It's that place where you lose yourself and you find yourself.
Hey everyone, good morning, or I should say it's morning here where I am. I'll get back to those Bruce Lee expressions and the Patrick Swayze expression in just a minute. What you're seeing in the background here is some footage from my jump rope workout yesterday, and I'll get back to that in just a second. So I'm outside at the minute. It's what I usually do shortly after waking up. I like to get outside and maybe do a little bit of walking around or do some light joint mobility exercises and just get some fresh air and look at the surroundings. I think it's a really nice way to wake up. And then go inside and drink some coffee, or sometimes I'll bring coffee outside with me. So yesterday, I'll just tell you about my day. I woke up and I did some reading while drinking some coffee, and then I came across an interview with Ido Portal, who you might know. He helped train Conor McGregor for several fights. So I came across an interview with him and this guy Lex Friedman, and the interview is approximately 45 minutes long. So I was going to sit inside and listen to it, but I decided, why don't I just bring my laptop up to the roof and do some relatively easy jump rope while listening to the interview. So that's what I did. I came up to the roof, I just loosened up for a few minutes, and then I started jumping rope. So I jumped rope for the entire interview, and even when the interview finished, I was feeling so good, I threw in another 10 minutes. And then at the end of the workout, I did over 200 double unders. It's amazing. Getting back to that Bruce Lee quote, he said, "I do not punch. My fist punches by itself." And he's referring to a state of flow, a Zen state, where you lose yourself in an activity. He loved martial arts so much and used to practice and do so many repetitions. It's amazing. When you start doing so many repetitions, you can actually lose yourself in the activity. As he said, not thinking, yet not dreaming. You're still present, but it's almost like your body is doing the motion all by itself. And a lot of people nowadays, they talk about this idea of mindfulness, being very present. But Bruce Lee, I think, might refer to it as mindlessness. He used to always say, if you want to achieve a state of kind of almost like Zen, first you need to empty your mind. And Patrick Swayze, in a great movie, well, a movie that I loved when I was younger and I still like today, was the original Point Break movie, featuring him and Keanu Reeves, which was about surfing and bank robberies. But anyways, he referred to surfing as the place where you could lose yourself and find yourself. When you keep doing an activity and you just focus on the movement, you're focusing maybe on catching a wave, staying on your board, you're focusing so much, and if you're focusing for so much for so long, you can all of a sudden find yourself not even thinking about what you're doing, and yet you're able to do the activity. You're in a total state of flow, a state of Zen. And yesterday when I was jumping rope, after I'd say about 20 minutes, it was almost as if I wasn't spinning the rope. The rope was spinning by itself. So initially, I was really concentrating on listening to the interview and jumping over the rope, landing on the ground, spinning the rope with my hands. And I was really concentrating as well on my breathing, just trying to breathe nice and easily. And then after about 20 minutes, I realized, geez, I'm actually on the roof jumping rope. You almost lose yourself. You're hearing the rope tap the ground all the time. You're so focused on jumping properly, clearing the rope, not getting the rope caught on your feet. It just almost becomes then habit. You just start doing these things so often, you lose yourself. All of a sudden, you don't even realize you're doing it. Your body is just doing it all by itself, and it's an amazing feeling. So after about 20 minutes, the skipping felt absolutely effortless. My breathing was super calm. My mind, my body felt so light. That's one thing I absolutely love about physical activity. if you're doing a lot of repetitions over and over, and if you're doing an activity that you enjoy, sometimes you can just lose yourself in the activity. Anything that was bothering you before you started just kind of fades away and you have a heightened sense of clarity after, but yet at the same time you feel very sharp but very peaceful. And so that's what Bruce Lee was saying, not dreaming yet not thinking. It's just somewhere in between, but it's a fantastic feeling, almost like a feeling of kind of euphoria. So yeah, long duration workouts, sometimes I find them very good for just relaxing. I would focus on my breathing, try to breathe only using my nose, and try to make no mistakes jumping rope. And just you're completely focused on breathing and completely focused on spinning the rope, jumping over the rope, and not getting the rope caught in your feet. And then perhaps you might notice the same thing. After a certain period of time, you forget about breathing, you forget about spinning the rope, you're just doing it automatically. Long duration skipping, it can be absolutely fantastic. If you haven't tried to jump rope for, maybe not necessarily as long as you can, but maybe set a timer, see how long you can jump for without making any mistakes. And if today you can only do 5 minutes, maybe practice. A few weeks later, you might be able to do 6-7 minutes and keep practicing like that. Maybe eventually you might even be able to get up to like 30 minutes or even more than 30 minutes.
Hey everyone, right now it is 1:55 a.m. where I am. I just got home from the cinema. I went to a late show with a friend. So I'm just using my computer now, relaxing. I'm in a room right now with the lights off, and there's just a candle in the room for light. I have the TV on the background for extra light, and I'm doing a little bit of reading, and I'm sipping on some red wine. I like a little bit of red wine now and again. And I thought I would add some audio to go with this jump rope video. And on my computer, I have a few files labeled inspiration documents. And in a lot of these files, I have stories that I've read over the years that I found quite touching or motivating. And in the particular file that I'm looking at right now, I just have a bunch of quotes and expressions that I've saved over the years. And I thought it might be a nice way for this video just to add or to read out loud some of these quotes that I have saved on this file. And as I read them out loud for this video, it's kind of a way for me to also review these quotes. So the first one I have here is from the Code of the Samurai, and it says, "For existence is impermanent as the dew of the evening. All misfortune springs from not remembering to keep death always in your thoughts." In other words, appreciate life, because we never know when it will end. We often say to ourselves, life is very short, life is precious. We often say those words, but how often do we truly believe it? And here is another one connected with the samurai. This one is from the movie The Last Samurai, and one of the main characters, whose name was Katsumoto, he said the following words when he was visiting a garden. He said, "Like these cherry blossoms, we are all dying. To know life in every breath, in every cup of tea, in every life we take, the way of the warrior." Again, the idea there is to be grateful for existence. Remember and be appreciative of what you have, and not to worry too much about what you don't have. First, be grateful for what you have. Here is one from Arnold Schwarzenegger. "Have a vision. Think big. Ignore the naysayers. Work your ass off and give back and change the world. Because if not us, who? If not now, when? Arnold Schwarzenegger has some fantastic motivational videos on YouTube. Not only the words which he speaks are very powerful, but his intonation and his voice and the passion behind those words is very uplifting. I often listen to Arnold Schwarzenegger videos on YouTube, and his life story is quite remarkable. Here is one from the philosopher Plato, which I really like. He said, "The greatest wealth is to live content with little." I think that's very powerful. If you can be happy with few things, and if you don't want for too much, you will always be happy. I've sometimes heard a few people that I know say that you have mastered life when you're content with little, or when you are content by spending time just by yourself. If you don't need other people or external things to make you happy, you have mastered life. Businessman Robert Kiyosaki said the following: "A question opens the mind. A statement closes it." So, for example, if someone says, "I'm too tired, I can't exercise," that is a statement. The person is saying, "I can't exercise." Instead, if that person said, "I'm tired, but how can I exercise?" The how will make our mind become more creative and find solutions to the problem. Businessman Gary Vaynerchuk said, "How you make your money is more important than how much money you make." I think that is very powerful. From the movie Troy, Achilles said, "The gods envy us. They envy us because we're mortal, because any moment might be our last. Everything is more beautiful because we are doomed. You will never be lovelier than you are now. We will never be here again." In other words, the human life is precious because one day we will die. If we remember that, we should try to appreciate every day, because every day, as they say, is a gift. It reminds me of a scene from the movie Fight Club with Brad Pitt and Edward Norton, when Brad Pitt has a gun up to a character who works at a convenience store. And this clerk, when asked what he wanted to do with his life, he said he wanted to become a veterinarian. But he said he didn't want to do it because it was too hard. And Brad Pitt's character, whose name was Tyler Durden, he said to this guy, "Well, would you rather be dead?" Brad Pitt was threatening with killing him. And Brad Pitt's character told him, "If you are not on your way to become a veterinarian, the next time I see you will be your last time." Fear is a powerful motivator. Imagine if we all had a gun to our head to motivate us, as in that movie. In a sense, we all do. Time. Napoleon Hill said, "If you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way." Dante said, "The path to paradise begins in hell. If everything was easy, everyone would have it. Everyone would be doing it. Oftentimes, the things we want require a lot of hard work. Sean Covey said, saying yes to one thing means saying no to another. The older I get, the more valuable I have learned this message to be. And these days I hear more people saying, unless I want to say hell yes to something, then I need to say hell no. Because if we say yes to one thing, if we agree to doing something, we limit other possibilities. So be careful with what you say yes to. There's a popular French expression, and it goes like this. Mangez bien, riez souvent, aimez beaucoup. And that translates into eat well, laugh often, love abundantly. Mangez bien, riez souvent, aimez beaucoup. Eat well, laugh often, love abundantly. I think that is good advice. The scientist Isaac Newton, his first law of motion states, an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion with the same speed and in the same direction, unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. We could state those words differently. If you are at a position in your life and you're doing the same thing over and over again, chances are you will produce the same results. If you are tired and you're just sitting down all day, chances are you're going to remain tired and you're going to remain sitting down. If you want to increase your energy, you have to get in motion. Motion creates more motion. Or, as the motivational speaker Anthony Robbins often says, motion creates emotion. If you are tired, one of the best ways to energize yourself is to move your body. Moving your body will increase oxygenation and blood circulation, and it will increase endorphins. So remember that. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. Oftentimes, very energetic people, they wake up feeling unenergetic, but they know that once they start moving, once they do some action, they are going to once again feel energized. We often look at people who have a lot of energy and say, oh, they're very lucky, they have so much energy. Oftentimes, they created that energy by either moving their bodies, changing the way they think, or changing the way they speak. James Altucher said, every day you reinvent yourself. You are always in motion, but you decide every day, forward or backward. Former Navy SEALs, badass and strongman, or used to hold the world record for the number of pull-ups done, David Goggins. He said, the biggest war you are ever going through is right between your own ears. It's between your own ears. It's in your mind. Our minds are so powerful. It is often said, what we think, we become. If we have negative thoughts, we become more negative. David Goggins often says, if you're exercising and you begin to feel tired and you think you have nothing left in the tank, it's untrue. You have a lot more left in the tank. Just don't give up. Keep pushing yourself, and you will even surprise yourself. And then when you do push through, you're going to gain confidence. And the next time you have a challenge, you're going to know you can push yourself even more. Seneca said, luck is where opportunity meets preparation. The Marines say, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. In other words, we all want the good life. We all want certain things, but we don't want to pay the price. Not necessarily money to get such things. We might not want to put in the consistent hard work and effort to get what we want. Instead, many people give up or quit before they reach their goals. Charles Bukowski said, the less I need it, the better I felt. That's very similar to the Plato quote, which I mentioned not too long ago. I think it's a very powerful message. The less I need it, the better I felt. If we think about this quote, even in terms of food, oftentimes we fill our plates with so many different foods, different colors, different textures. But I often enjoy meals with maybe just one or two things on a plate. I often think simplicity is better. The less I have on a plate, the more I can truly enjoy and appreciate those foods. If I have too much on my plate, I never really truly appreciate each food. Scientist and bodybuilder Lane Norton said, remember, success is 99% monotony and boring, and 1% amazing. It's just that the 1% is what we show everyone else on Instagram. That is a fantastic quote, and I'm going to read it again. Remember, success is 99% monotony and boring, and 1% amazing. It's just that the 1% is what we show everyone else on Instagram. Nowadays, because of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, it's so easy to engage in social comparison. We can see photos and videos from other people's lives and think they're living such incredible lives compared to ourselves. Or look at the lifestyle this person has, look at the appearance of this person. But we might not necessarily be seeing the true story. We might not be seeing the hard work and effort it took to achieve those things, or perhaps the bad things that are going on in people's lives. We live in a world where we often don't share our troubles. We only talk about the joys and the good things. Motivational speaker Eric Thomas said, sometimes in life, you have to do what you don't like to do, so you can live like you want to live. Warren Buffett said, price is what you pay, value is what you get. And here's one that I heard recently by businessman Grant Cardone. If you are not moving at all, you are not going up and you are not going down, you are going down. John, by the way, said, inch by inch, life's a cinch. Yard by yard, life is hard. In other words, if you have a goal, break the goal down into small increments. Focus on doing the little things right consistently, and you can achieve big things. Will Smith said something similar. He said, if you want to build a house or you want to build a wall, don't focus on building, for example, 1 yard of wall. Just focus on laying 1 brick at a time. Keep laying 1 brick at a time and laying those bricks very well. Soon you are going to have a fantastic wall, a fantastic building. Dejan Stojanovic said, the most complicated skill is to be simple. We often make things more complicated than we have to be, and later on we realize that oftentimes the solution or the best approach is the simplest one. Napoleon Hill, another quote from him. He said, successful people make decisions quickly and change them very slowly. Unsuccessful people make decisions very slowly and change them often and quickly. Here is a longer one from one of my favorite former boxers, Andre Ward. He said, anything is possible if you really want to do something in life. It's very simple. You have to work. You have to work and you have to continue to work. And when you don't feel like working anymore, you have to continue to work. I'm a firm believer that when you work hard, great things happen. I'm willing to go through whatever I have to go through to get what I'm trying to get. Another boxer, Floyd Mayweather, he said something similar about the value of hard work. I remember seeing a video of him, and it was about 2 in the morning, and he was about to go to the gym to get in a 3rd workout for the day. And he said, do I want to go work out right now? Absolutely not. I'd rather be up in my house, laying down, watching videos. But to be the best, you got to work overtime. To be the best, you got to work overtime. Carlos Castaneda said, to be a warrior is not a simple matter of wishing to be one. It is rather an endless struggle that will go on to the very last moment of our lives. Nobody is born a warrior in exactly the same way that nobody is born an average man. We make ourselves into one or the other. That quote makes me think of David Goggins, who I just mentioned a little while ago, the former Navy SEAL, who is accomplishing amazing things these days. He is achieving some incredible feats of physicality, and people look at him and they think he is this Superman, this extraordinary individual, which he is. But David Goggins is often the first to say, I wasn't always like this. I created myself. Every day he worked his ass off. Mental fortitude. He is just like any one of us, but he puts in the hard work, and he will do what most people won't do to get what he wants. From the play, Shakespeare's play, Hamlet, there was a scene in which Hamlet said, "Cowardly hesitation comes from thinking too much." In other words, if we think too much about something, it can create inactivity. Oftentimes, the longer we think about doing something, the less likely we may be to do it. Instead, if we just take action and then make decisions that present themselves, decide what we have to do to the circumstances that arise. Hamlet also said, "Your skill will shine like the brightest star in the darkest night." Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "All life is an experiment. The more experiments you make, the better." Another quote here from Warren Buffett. He said, "The big question about how people behave is whether they've got an inner scorecard or an outer scorecard. It helps if you can be satisfied with an inner scorecard. I always pose it this way. I say, look, would you rather be the world's greatest lover, but have everyone think you're the world's worst lover? Or would you rather be the world's worst lover, but have everyone think you're the world's greatest lover?" Oftentimes, these are my words now, oftentimes when there are people around, when there are people present, for example, if you are in an office and there are other people around, we might put on a facade. We might do things to impress those people around us. For example, if there's trash on the ground, we might pick it up and throw it in the garbage can. But what if that room, the office, is empty and there's no people around? And perhaps you might be one of the people to throw trash on the ground. I think in life what's really important is what you do, not when there are people around, but what you do when you are alone. Sidney J. Harris said, "The time to relax is when you don't have time for it." And I'm going to finish with one from Thomas Edison. He said, "I failed my way to success." Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time. Hope to see you again soon.